Well, hello there, Libra. How are you? It is so good to see you again. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So today we are going to have a bonus reading. So we'll just see what comes out for you, what messages that Spirit may have for you at this time. We'll take a look at the overall energy with the Oracle cards and then go to the Tarot for more details about any obstacles on your path or advice that Spirit has for you. And this reading is good for whenever you find it. So it's also good for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, so let's see what we have here. White Raven Spirit, trust in the magic and protected by angels. You are cherished by the angels. Wow. Just a beautiful energy of something. I feel like something magical. The number 66 there, right? Something magical, and 6, the number 6 is the Lover's card in the Tarot. So it is something that is near and dear to your heart. It could have something to do with a relationship. Yeah, you have trust your angels on the bottom. Your angels, I feel like this is divinely guided. Definitely divinely guided. All in perfect timing. Are you kidding me? Oh, this is a blessing in disguise. Oh my goodness. This is so, the magic. Just the energy of magic. It's almost like the cards are like magical themselves. I feel almost like, yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Something that you have felt like you have been lacking in for a very long time, like lacking financial stability, lacking connections, lacking relationships, lacking love, lacking a sense of fulfillment, lacking a purpose, right? All of a sudden, it's like almost instantly healed. Yeah, this is, oh my goodness, the angels are all over this. What a beautiful energy. I feel Gemini had and it wasn't like this, but it was almost like this sense of magic in theirs too. The word magic wasn't coming up, but this sense, I feel like the air signs are, I'll have to say your energy, the air signs are much lighter than the other readings that I've done in this series. It's almost, now I'll have to say we have the summer solstice starting today too. It's this energy of just, like a switch. That's all I can explain it. Like a switch is going from off to on and the magic is happening instantly. Oh, yes. Oh, beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, work through your fears. Show the world the real you. I think that you've had some very big disappointment, Libra. This is your present energy. Some very disappointing, heartbreaking situation. Okay, not recently, but in the past. Okay. And it could be actually quite a while. It could be back from that Pluto transit in 2008. There's this energy that it is something that was extremely disappointing. And whether you realized it or not, you were making gains. You were going forward from this heartbreak, right? But the fear of being heartbroken again, whether you realized it or not, kept playing out in some of other situations in your life as you continued on down your path, right? The fear of being heartbroken again. So it's kind of like you may not have taken risks or put yourself out there or been shown the real you, right, to the world, because when you may have done that in the past, you were heartbroken. And this could have happened as a child, like perhaps you wanted to be in the school play or something like that. And then, you put your heart and soul into it, and you really, you had a great part in the play, and you were the real you up on stage, kind of like you really shined, or you really thought it was a magical time. Okay. Something that was magical in the past. And then perhaps, you had a sibling or a parent that kind of made fun of you, or, it didn't appreciate what you did up on the stage. Okay. Or whatever this was, this magical thing. Yeah. I feel like you experienced magic at one time. And for some reason, something happened after that. Either you were scrutinized for it or ridiculed or just not appreciated. Okay. You put a lot of, there was this magical moment, but the other person didn't see it. You could have fallen in love, but the other person didn't reciprocate, right? There's this energy where because what you perceived to be magical in the past ended up being heartbroken, you never, is it like wishing or you never, in order for magic to happen, we also have to allow magic to happen in our life. That means we have to take a risk. We have to put ourselves in the position of having magic come to us, right? And it's that energy of never putting yourself in the position of receiving magic again, because the last time you had a magical moment, it became heartbreaking for some reason. Wow, that's kind of interesting, because it's kind of like, I'm not saying that your life has not had a lot going on in it, right? It's just that you never aligned yourself to something magical again. You never really and truly shown the real you ever again. Yeah, look at this. Step out of your comfort zone. Increase. Take control of your thoughts. This heartbreak has played out more in your thinking, in your choices than you recognize. And once again, it does not mean that you haven't had a, look at this, 10 of Cups, Temperance. These popped out. Temperance. Yeah, reassessing what is your true 10 of Cups. And how are you going to reach it? In order to do that, you have to moderate. You have to put time and energy into putting yourself in a situation where you could experience magic again. It's kind of like you could have even been, let's say you had a magical love relationship in the past, or you felt that magical spark with somebody, but they didn't reciprocate it, right? So you experienced love, but then it was a heartbreak because they didn't feel the same for you. So it could be that you could even be dating. You could be even in another relationship. But you, whether you recognize it or not, you kind of closed your heart off. You're not shining. You're not sharing all of you emotionally, right? You're not sharing all of you because it's kind of like you don't, oh my goodness, it's almost as if like you don't want the relationship to be magical, because if it was magical, then you're afraid it's going to end. It's almost like you feel like if I get that magical feeling again, it's going to end. It's about understanding. No, you can never, oh my goodness, you can never experience magic again if you don't allow the magic to come in. You don't allow yourself to step into the energy of accepting magic in your life. If you have felt like since this, and for some of you, it could be from childhood, like nothing magical has happened for me, right? Then it's this energy of recognizing you have to allow magic to come in. You have to allow yourself to be in a position to receive magic. Oh my goodness. I've never really kind of like, I know it's kind of like an epiphany for me. Yes. Okay, so let's take a look at your area of resistance or your obstacle. Yeah, deception. I feel like you're almost deceiving yourself. You're deceiving yourself of this moment of magic. Yeah. A personal issue reaches resolution. You will manifest what you need. And 3 of Pentacles. I think there's something that you're really wanting to come together for you. This magical thing. So with the 3 of Pentacles, it could be, in the work situation, you're trying to get a group of people together so you can have this magical launch of something, launch of a new website or a business or whatever. If it's a relationship, especially maybe a family relationship, having that magical moment, right? Bringing people together, bringing a situation together. Perhaps even something that was magical in the past, but then went off the rails, trying to bring some magic back into a certain situation. So you have, this is a blessing in disguise. So is the Three of Swords the blessing that's in disguise? Because I feel like whatever this heartbreak was, wow. And then you have the Three of Pentacles again. You're trying to decide, do I want to bring, I feel like this is the magic. Do I want to bring this magic back into my life? You have the Empress, the High Priestess, and the Seven of Wands. I feel like whatever the magical thing is that poof, disappeared for one reason or another, whether it's a relationship, a business that you started, some situation, your financial stability, perhaps even having a health issue or something, like you could have felt like you were in top performance. You hear about marathon runners that, suddenly have a heart attack, like they're in prime athletes that suddenly have a heart attack or something like that, right? It's kind of like, I think you felt like you were at the top of your game and then suddenly, poof, it was gone, okay? And so it's almost this energy of, I don't want to put that much time and energy into anything again, because if I do, right, and I get to the peak, right, it's going to fall apart again. But it's understanding whether this is like a group of people that you're trying to bring back together, perhaps like a family or something like that, or if it's just magic in your life, trying to get it together. Because the Three of Pentacles is, I got to get it together, right? In order to get it together, recognizing that for some reason, did you self-sabotage the magic? That's interesting. Let's figure out what this is. Did you self-sabotage it, or are you just self-sabotaging having magic again in your life? That's interesting. Yeah. You have the Two of Cups, the Lovers, and then the Nine of Pentacles. I feel like for some of you, this is a romantic relationship. And there was a lot of magic. There was a lot of magic. And I feel like you're kind of single and you're kind of like, okay, that's the magic isn't going to happen again. And it could have derailed because that person may have betrayed you. Okay? They may have betrayed you. So you're associating magical relationship, right, to being heartbroken, being betrayed. But recognizing now that you're betraying yourself from magic because you're associating magic with betrayal. So you're kind of like almost like turning it around. Now this is somewhat like the Gemini reading in the fact that recognizing that there perhaps were some red flags or something about that relationship. You may have felt magical in that relationship, but if you weren't reciprocated, it wasn't reciprocated, then was it truly magical? Was it? I mean, those are feelings, right? Those are feelings. Yeah, I feel like you're trying to work through your fears. Look at, you have the Two of Cups, the Ten of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune. Excuse me. After a long time. Oh my goodness. Judgment. I think for some of you, there is somebody from the past that it was unrequited love in the past. Because your advice here is the Page of Swords and the answers you need are coming. I think for some of you, you are going to hear from this person. I feel like somebody broke your heart here. Some situation broke your heart. I feel though that they broke your heart and you are perceiving the entire situation in one way. And that is not exactly the way it is. Really, I think you're going to understand how this situation, because this is a blessing in disguise, right? Like all of a sudden you understand how this magical moment that derailed suddenly put you towards your life purpose and perhaps even, a beautiful situation. It could be that this person now is ready for this relationship. This is almost like a twin flame energy, I'll have to admit. It's kind of like you could have separated from your twin and you've done your work. You've stepped into your purpose, right? And they have too. Like, I don't feel like this is somebody that you separated from like last week or even a year ago. I think that this is something that, perhaps at least 3, 5, 15, 20 years, it could be somebody you haven't seen in a long time. And it's kind of like you had to go on your own path, do your own work, and now you are coming back together. And what you're understanding is you have opened up to your spiritual gifts and it's time to play. Wow, and abundance. Okay, so if some of you are not reconnecting to someone that was in the past, then what is occurring is that you have a new person coming in, and the person in the past that may have betrayed you is, that person is gone and somebody new is coming in. Oh my goodness, this is really interesting. I'd love to see where this goes in some time, because it is so interesting. Yeah. Somebody from the past, I think for some of you, somebody from the past is coming in with an offer. And this time it's victorious. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this magical moment that you had in the past. It could be that you had a magical moment with somebody. They could have even felt it themselves. But I'm going to say there's a couple of different scenarios, right? One or both of you could have been in a relationship, You may not have even known about that relationship. It could have even been a third party, and you may not have known it at the time. Maybe you then discovered it, you went your own ways, right? Or you could have been in this relationship, especially if it's twin flame. I feel like somebody got a little spooked by the whole thing, the energy, the magic of it, right? And one of you left, and I feel like it was the other person, but one of you left the relationship, perhaps even very suddenly. And that is what you are perceiving as a deception, right? Somebody cut and run in the middle of the night. Now they want to come back. But the separation had to occur. The separation, think about it. When you separated from this person or separated from this magical moment, even if this is not the person coming back, here's the key, Libra, for you to be able to step into this next chapter, is to look back at that magical moment and recognize, what you have learned out of that situation. I feel like the thing that's keeping you stuck is that you're associating whatever happened in that situation. You're kind of like generalizing, Okay, if that makes sense. You could be generalizing. Magic equals deception, right? So I don't want that. Or you could be, just kind of hyper focusing on what it is that you don't want in the relationship. It's about focusing back on you. What did you learn out of this situation about yourself? What did you experience that you don't want to experience again? What red flags did you see in this situation that you either dismissed or excused or whatever? That is the blessing in disguise, because now when this person comes back, it's not about having the same perception of the person that they were in the magical moment. It's about, okay, here's the red flags that I saw. Here's the patterns of behavior. And then coming into this with new eyes, understanding. You have the Judgment card and the Wheel of Fortune. Something magical is happening again. But I feel as if you're going to be in that mindset. Magic equals deception. Magic equals broken heart. It's about recognizing magic's about to happen for you again, but you have to be able to separate what has happened in the past by internalizing, by looking at yourself and asking, okay, what did I dismiss? What did I excuse? What did I not communicate at that time? How have I worked on healthy boundaries? How have I worked on communicating my needs and wants to others? How have I practiced listening to my partner? How have I evolved? Because one of the things is that if you have evolved, right, you have to also give the other person a chance to have also evolved. And that's why I say, this is not somebody that broke your heart a year ago. This is somebody that has been on a path, that has put time and effort into themselves. And you have also put time and effort into yourself. So when they come back, it's about, okay, we're not stepping back into the patterns that we had before. We're also not putting the same perceptions of who we were in the past onto our now present selves. Think about that. If you think about it, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you were not the person you are today. If you have been away from this person for a long time, you have to also accept that they have perhaps stepped into alignment with their higher self. They have put time and energy into progressing themselves, personal growth. Now, if you're seeing those red flags, truly seeing the red flags and not trying to find the red flags, okay? That there is a difference, right? It's about, okay, I'm going to open up to having the magic in this situation again. I feel like this is, for some of you, a twin flame that you separated from that had a very difficult ending. Okay, your heart was truly broken, and I'm sending you so much love and hugs. But once again, it's kind of like knowing that you have the wisdom now to be able to see people for who they are. You perhaps didn't have that before, or when you did see who they were, you allowed yourself to give them a pass or excuse their behavior, right? Or say, oh, things will be different again, down the line, right? Because the magic, okay, the feelings of magic in the relationship clouded your judgment. And let's put it that way, right? It clouded your judgment. Now you're stepping into this, having practiced healthy boundaries in other relationships. You are stepping into this energy of recognizing, I can be discerning. I can look at things in a new light. If you think about that, somebody that is a good judge, say in the world of law, right? It comes unbiased to court to listen to both sides. comes unbiased. Doesn't mean that every judge is that way, right? But a judge's job is to come to know the standards, the laws, right? For you being the judge, it's about knowing your healthy boundaries, what you value, and then also listening intently. A good judge listens to the information and doesn't judge it, right? Until they have all the information. I feel like that is part of the deception here, is that I feel as if you may not have all of the information. I think you maybe, okay, had your heart broken, but you didn't have all the information at the time. You had part of it. So you know, and your heart was broken. I'm not dismissing that. But I don't feel like you knew why all of this went down. You know, there was something still hidden from you. Yeah, with the moon card. You weren't really sure, right? You weren't really sure. I do feel like this is family or either a romantic connection. Something that you weren't really sure why it happened the way it did, but you didn't have all of the information. So it's kind of like a judge that would make a decision without having all the information. Say, okay, I'm only listening for 10 minutes, right? And people are, well, yeah, but I want to tell my side of the story. Oh, well, I have 10 minutes. Well, I need 20 minutes to tell you all of the facts. No, you only have 10 minutes, right? If you think about it, they don't put a time limit on, if you go to court, they don't put a time limit on it. It's not like chess where, you know, there's a timer, a buzzer. You get to have your say. And I feel like that is this situation, allowing someone to have to explain themselves. I think that's what it is. To explain themselves, to explain how they maybe have evolved. And once again, if this is a toxic or abusive relationship, that is different, right? I mean, that is different. I mean, there definitely was some toxicity in this relationship, but, you know, codependency or, you know, something like that, but something that could be worked on, right? Something that could be healed. Something where if both parties put time and effort into it, right, could personally grow. That's different than, you know, something that is just, you know, totally abusive. That's different. It's not about allowing people back into your life. And that's the other thing is if they haven't really changed, you listen to their explanation, allow them to share what was really going on. I think that they have something emotionally that they could not share with you before. They just were not capable, Libra. They could not share. They were not capable. And now I think they want to come back. They want to share why they acted the way they did. Maybe why they left in the middle of the night. So it's about listening and then deciding how you want to move forward. But it is about listening. And I know some of you are going to say, I'm not giving them the time of day. And if it's one of those situations, then it is. I think for some of you, though, if this is resonating, especially if it's like a twin flame or something, it is about recognizing that this is a situation where having the I think there's a little bit about having the grace, okay? You are protected by angels. Having the grace to trust in the magic, right? To understand that you have transformed yourself, right? And just maybe they have too. Yeah. I know, I think that's so hard because, you know, we always say, what is it? You know, a tiger never changes their stripes, or a leopard spot, you know, always has spots, something, whatever. And I, you know, for the most part, that could be very true, you know. But I also feel as if there is something here about recognizing, you know, I know that I feel like I'm totally different than I was 5-10 years ago. I have transformed, put a lot of work into my own personal growth. And sometimes when I'm around people that I, were significant in my life, like 10 years ago, before my transformation, right? I can, I feel like I fall back into the roles that I played, the part that I played in those relationships, that sometimes people from the past don't recognize the transformation. They assume that I'm the same person that I was back then. I mean, these are like people that really, you don't see very often, and it's really hard because it's like, no, I'm not that person, right? But it's hard when, those are not like significant people in my life. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is kind of one of those situations where when perhaps the two of you first communicate, you may fall back into those roles. It may be really easy to just assume that they haven't changed, or, or perceive everything as, oh yeah, see, they haven't changed, right? But it's about allowing them grace. It's just like sometimes how I can feel frustrated with people from the past because it's like, well, I'm not that person. So it's kind of like, and I wasn't a terrible person or anything like that. I don't have a lot of skeletons in the closet or anything, but it's just kind of like, yes, like I would appreciate if people would recognize that I'm not the same person, right? And allow me that little bit of grace. And perhaps, people that, oh, remember when you did blah, 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 it's kind of like, yes, I've moved on from that. I'm not that person anymore. And I feel like there's a little bit of that here of perhaps both sides. I think there is temperance here, right? Allowing both sides this grace. You want grace from them, and I feel like they may want grace from you. Yeah, how can I be more kind to myself and offer more grace in this very moment? Yeah, I mean, it's very beautiful. Offering yourself grace and offering them grace. Growing our self-love is medicine to this world's broken heart. When you heal, we all heal. When you give yourself more grace, you are able to give the world more grace. Yeah, beautiful. So it's about giving yourself grace about who you were in the past, and also giving them grace about who they are now, right? Oh, beautiful. All right, well, I'm going to leave it there. I do personal readings, Libra, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you, and I wish you so much love and light, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye for now.